This is BHF Foundation, and we want to have, we want to discuss a little bit about what is going on in the Middle East at the moment. The crisis in the Middle East is getting worse by the day, and unfortunately, we seem to be getting to a situation right now where it's even getting more painful and sad. Let me say this first. We quite appreciate the fact that what is going on now is terrible, very, very wrong. There have been a lot of, since October 3, where this crisis started, the Israeli forces have killed about close to 60,000 people, if I'm not mistaken, and thousands of people who have been injured in the Gaza Strip. But I want us to also, in all fairness and in true journalism, I want us to be able to look at what is going on now and ask ourselves how it started. Because you must have a clear understanding of what led to this massive killing in the Middle East, which has caused a lot of damage. Not only damage in Gaza, it has also caused to the losses of life in Iran. It's also led to the war between Israel and Iran. And it went further again. It causes the complete destruction of Hezbollah in Lebanon. You remember the leader of Hezbollah in Lebanon was struck and killed about last year or so. And almost all the big leaders of Lebanon, they were all killed. Let me say this also. Hezbollah is a terrorist organization in Lebanon, financed by Iran. Hezbollah is a terrorist organization financed by Iran. Just want us to get this a little bit clear. Iran is not only financing Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran is also financing the Houthis in Yemen, Hamas in Gaza, and also some militia group in Iraq. And the main purpose of this terrorist organization, which they call Axis of Resistance, is towards the destruction of Israel. The only thing they want to achieve is to destroy Israel. We decided to want to also try and keep the record straight, because the mainstream media, there seems to be a little bit biased in presenting these issues. I've listened to a lot of commentary from Arise, the news analysts in Arise, that are always on air Monday to Friday from 8 to 9 or 8 to 10, especially Rufai. Definitely Rufai has some hatred for Israel, and so he tried to manifest this hatred for Israel by giving a one-sided truth. One-sided truth. And so if you want to know the truth, don't listen to the mainstream media, because they seem not to, they don't tell you the truth because they have negative thoughts and bias towards the state of Israel. This whole crisis started by Hamas invading the territory of Israel and killing close to 2,000 people and kidnapping over 500 of them. Now, the number of people that have been released so far by Hamas is not up to half of those they kidnapped. That was where this crisis started. And Hezbollah in Lebanon decided to get themselves involved in the crisis that doesn't concern them, because as far as they are concerned, they are fighting for their brother, Hamas. Hezbollah, Hamas attacked Israel on the 7th of October, almost 2 years ago. Almost 2 years ago. 7th of October, 2023, Hamas attacked Israel. And on the 8th of October, Hezbollah, that is resident in Lebanon, joined the attack against the Jewish state. Now, Hamas is a proxy of Iran, just the way Hezbollah is also a proxy of Iran. And not quite long after those attacks, the Houthis in Yemen, they joined the battle, started attacking Israel. So we have about 3 proxies of Iran attacking Israel, because it seems as if the major thing that the goal or the objective of the Iranian government is to see to the destruction of Israel. And the Israelis decided to fight back. They went all out for Lebanon, for Hezbollah, and they completely destroyed Hezbollah, decimated them. They destroyed the leader. The leadership of Hezbollah was completely destroyed. Then Iran is also decided to join, because he's their father. Then Iran decided to attack Israel straight from Iranian soil. They were attacking Israel. I just want us to get this thing clear so that the world will be able to understand what is going on. This crisis will not have occurred if Hamas, the terrorist organization, did not attack Israel. They started it. Now, the crisis has been on for a very long time. A lot of souls have been destroyed. Like I said, I sympathize with the houses destroyed, the souls destroyed in the Gaza Strip. It's quite sad that people have been moved from place to place, from place to place. But when the mainstream media try to talk about the crisis in the Gaza area, they just show the part of the Gaza, and they try to make you understand, they make the world understand through their Western propaganda machine that there's famine in Gaza, and the whole of Gaza has been destroyed. That's not the truth. I was able to watch 2C TV today, and I saw that either is the Eastern Gaza or Western Gaza. I can't really place it for now. They were having fun, they were eating, they were drinking, they were just enjoying themselves. The houses were standing. It's a section of Gaza that have been attacked and destroyed, not everywhere. And it's a section where Hamas stays, the terrorist organization. I saw them drinking in Gaza. They were drinking, they were having fun, they were eating. In fact, a family just celebrated the 5 years birthday of one of their daughters. There were all kinds of food there. They were eating good food surrounded. So there's food there. But you see, the Western world, because of its bias against Israel, will always create the impression that there's starvation over there. And it's sad. It's sad. They want to make you understand that there's starvation in Gaza, starvation that was caused by the Jews. And you begin to see countries like the UK, Netherlands, Australia, and the Western nations that were traditional allies of Israel, they were able to buy into these lies. They were able to buy into these lies. But again, why are they hidden? Why are they so serious in propagating these stories? Because they discovered that the humanitarian aid that was sent to Gaza was being hijacked by the terrorist organization Hamas. They don't give it to the people because the Hamas themselves, they seem not to care about the people. They are not interested. They were having good time. That's why we watched the news the other day of some members of Hamas that were eating and displaying the food they were eating. They're displaying the food for everybody to see. So they don't allow those who are supposed to benefit from it. They don't get it. And the Jewish states and the Americans decided to say, okay, we'll distribute this food through the Gaza humanitarian foundation. And that's what they've been doing. Now, but because it's no more passing through Hamas and they can no more hijack the food, they decide to set out their propaganda machine. And unfortunately, the UN seems to be buying on it. That's why there are many of us that feel that what's the UN for? The UN is of no importance. United Nations has outlived its usefulness. It has to be reformed because there are too many things that are wrong with the United Nations. When Israel was attacked and people were kidnapped, the UN said nothing until the Israelis decided to attack back. Then the UN made it a song. And the UN Secretary General, who seems to be very much interested in saying all kinds of things against the Jewish state, joining the propaganda machine in trying to condemn them. But for the past 4 months, please let us get this clear. For the past 4 months, the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, has said that the war can end today if the Jews want, if Hamas want to end it. And you begin to ask yourself, how will it end? Prime Minister and the Jewish state said, okay, release the hostages that you have now. A lot of people have been killed. Imagine the people that you kill people and you still hold their dead body. There are a lot of dead bodies that have been held by Hamas. I've not seen this kind of thing in my life. You killed people, you still hold their dead body. So about 50 or 60 Israelis that are still held hostage in Hamas custody, only 20 are alive. The rest of them are dead. And they are still holding the dead body. Now, the pressure they are putting on Israel now, I expect the world to put the same pressure on Hamas to release the hostages. If Hamas release the hostages today, according to the Prime Minister, the war will come to an end. Then why don't they want to release the hostages? And sadly enough, even the press, the world press, because of their biased nature, the mainstream media, they don't put the same pressure they are putting on Israel. They don't put the same pressure on Hamas to release the hostages. Release the hostages. Nobody is talking about the hostages. These hostages have been there for over 600 days in a dungeon. And I begin to see each time Rufai is talking about this thing, passionately talking about it, he never for once mentioned that Hamas should release the hostages. We want peace. The Palestinians have suffered enough. Now, but for this crisis to end, release the hostages, so at least the Palestinians can come back to a normal life. Because they have gone through a lot of pain. Houses have been destroyed, life have been destroyed. These people need life. They need to get their life back. But the issue right now is the Hamas themselves, they are not interested in releasing the hostages. And they are more interested in holding them. And as long as they hold them, the Jewish state will continue to fight. Like I said, those that were killed, it's unfortunate. There are too many casualties. Too many casualties. Too many Palestinians have died over this crisis caused by Hamas. And the world seems not to put any kind of pressure on Hamas at all. It looks as if the world is not even interested in the Palestinians. Because if Americans are doing everything possible to see that justice is done. If the United Nations are interested in the Palestinians, the United Nations will find a way to put pressure on Hamas to release the hostages. It's time for the world to talk about it. It's time for United Nations to begin to put pressure. It's time for Qatar. The Egyptians are doing everything possible to see that this thing comes to an end. But Qatar, that seems to be the residing place or the headquarters of the Hamas themselves. Because some of the Hamas leaders are all based in Qatar. So at times, even Qatar, I don't even understand again. Because there seems to be, they're trying to play the role of a peacekeeping nation. And at the end of the day, they have terrorists, they harbor terrorists. They seem to harbor them, they finance them. So you begin to ask yourself, what do they really want to gain? They're holding the world is confused. They have so much money, they don't know what to do with the money. They decide to use it to aid and finance terrorism. So the question we want to find out now is that what pressure is now put on Hamas to release the hostages? Because if the hostages are released today, there will be peace in Israel. There will be peace in the Middle East. But the hostages are not released. The crisis and the war is still going on. People are being punished. They are under intense pressure. People are going through. The Palestinians are suffering. The hostages are suffering. For 600 days now, they are hungry, they have been humiliated, they are under bondage, they are under tunnel for over 600 days, going to 400, going to 700 days. Nobody seems to talk about them. And what Britain, the UK is emphasizing, the UK and Canada, is continuous attack, verbal attack against the IDF. I don't know. It's a sad situation. If the Prime Minister of UK and Canada don't love their people, if they are willing to trade their people, willing to get their people being abducted and used as hostages, the Israelis say, no, release our citizens, and this war will end. Why don't Canada and the UK, New Zealand, Australia, why don't they put pressure on Hamas to release the hostages so that there can be peace in the Middle East? And from where the Houthis in Yemen, I mean, Yemen is a very poor country. I think it's the poorest country in the world. The little infrastructure which they have, they are supposed to be managing, they just get themselves dragging their citizens into crisis that doesn't concern them. Instead of attacking the Israelis, and their IDF retaliated. As of today, the presidential palace of Yemen has been attacked. A lot of infrastructure have been destroyed. The oil depot and the rest have been destroyed. A lot, the ship, everything. There's massive destruction and massive fire going on right now in Yemen. The IDF retaliated. But again, it is the Yemenis, it is the Houthis that started this crisis again. You're a poor country, you are managing to survive. You are dragging yourself into a war that doesn't concern you because you are being financed by Iran, which is the axis of resistance, whose principal aim and the blessings of God that God has given them oil wealth. The only thing they think they can do with the oil wealth is to see that they use it to destroy Israel. Why don't we live for peace? We need peace. I don't think the children in Palestine, they go to school anymore. They keep moving them from place to place, relocate from place to place, place to place. We want this war to end. Hamas end this war by releasing the hostages. Hamas end this war by releasing the hostages. And we just want to remind the world of the cause of the crisis. The crisis again started in October 7 when Hamas entered into Israel, kidnapped Israelis, and killed many of them, slaughtered babies, killed women and rape women and kill the women and rape them and all kinds of atrocities. There's no country that will tolerate it. So please, the Western media, Arise News, please tell your what do I call them now? Your analysts, Rufai and Co. They should be very objective in the analysis. They should be very, very objective. Don't paint it and make it look as if the Jews are evil. The Jews are bad. They are causing all kinds of crises. But we have seen again repeatedly that there's even no starvation in Gaza. I watched a video today. There's even some in TikTok where you see them eating and having fun, drinking. It's the same Gaza. It's a section of Gaza where Hamas stays initially. That's the place that have been destroyed and the rest. There are many places that are still standing. They are still standing very well and eating very well. I saw shopping complex. I saw all kinds of superstores. Wonderful thing in the stores. We saw it live. And so please, the Western world should do everything possible to be objective. And please, again, I want to advise our friend. I like him very well. I like him a lot. Hamas. What's his name again? Rufai. Try to be objective. Don't give you one-sided news, because we've seen from an analysis that when it comes to the state of Israel and when it comes to America, Donald Trump, for example, you have serious hatred for Donald Trump, his serious hatred for the Jews. And you're very, very biased when you're giving analysis. And it's unfortunate. Let's be objective. It is Hamas that went to attack Israel. And sadly enough, the first time this attack came in, almost 80% of Palestinians, they were so happy that Hamas attacked Israel, until the Israelis came back and start revenge. That's where we find ourselves now. And as it is today now, even the Palestinians are tired of Hamas, because they found out that it's Hamas that brought this destruction to their doorstep. This pain, this evil was brought to Gaza, to the Palestinians in Gaza by Hamas. The world should put pressure on Hamas to release the hostages. The hostages have suffered enough. It is time we put it to an end. This is the news from Middle East. Tomorrow, again in the evening, we'll be able to bring you more news from the Middle East. More news from the Middle East. So today, the presidential palace of Yemen has been destroyed by Israeli fighters jets. They've destroyed oil wells and oil stations, refineries. A lot of places have been destroyed. And this is just the beginning. Please, we need peace in the Middle East. And the only way to get this peace is for the world to put pressure. Hamas release the hostages. Until we meet again tomorrow in the evening to talk again about the situation of things in the Middle East, please join, pray that Hamas release the hostages so that there can be peace in the Middle East. Thank you.